When I was 10 years old, bored with my lessons, I dreamed about sword fighting and sailing the ocean. Now I'm realizing that the world is stranger than I ever imagined. Everything I know has been turned on its head, but I'm dealing with it the best I can. When you look at the great jeweled map at Dunwall Tower, Karnaca is the southernmost port in the Empire. A fat, red ruby. That's how I always thought of it. Up close, the city smells like the ocean and strange spices. Up close, it's a tangled story of blood and ambition. The birthplace of my father. Megan Foster is a stranger, but there's something that makes me want to trust her, despite her guarded disposition. She got me out of Dunwall, and I need answers. Delilah and the Duke made me look like a murderer, using the Crown Killer to butcher my political adversaries. They took what was mine, and I'm gonna get it back.
Well, it's definitely a solid wall this time. Bone charms. Runes and acquiring powers. Runes can be used to acquire supernatural powers. Open the journal and go to the Powers tab to exchange runes for power. And bone charms. Bone charms provide minor supernatural benefits. Locate them by listening to the song they emit, or use the heart to detect them from further away. By default, you can activate up to 5 bone charms at once in the bone charm selection of your journal. Yeah, Megan Foster. She definitely looks a lot like Billy Lurk, doesn't she? Of course, I also have the knowledge of, well, I've seen the Death of the Outsider trailer, where Lurk has both a mechanical eye and a mechanical arm, and, well, Foster has both legs, an eye, and an arm. And, well, Billy Lurk was the only, I don't know if she was the only or at least one of few people of color, at least the important ones. But even other than that, she has a lot of similarities. Yeah, meet with Megan Foster. The ship captain is waiting in the main room, ready to discuss the mission ahead. Let's take a look at what powers we have. Right now we have Far Reach. Pull this rapidly across the distance. Primarily a means of locomotion, Far Reach is also useful for avoiding enemies. Aim the power at the ground or the structure in front of you to pull yourself towards rapidly, or cast it at overhead ledges to pull yourself upward. Far Reach can be used to move through glass, breaking it. Upgrade Far Reach to pull enemies and objects towards you. If the power is used in stealth mode, your movement ends without further forward momentum. Can we look at what these are? Pull object. Pull objects towards you and catch them mid-air. Include corpses and unconscious bodies. Or decelerate. If you are falling, time is briefly slowed if you aim Far Reach. May be useful, we'll have to see. And pull enemies. Pull enemies towards you. Kill or incapacitate them in mid-air, not stealthy. Aim for Far Reach directly at an enemy to pull them violently towards you. You can assassinate or choke them, the enemy, or move out of the way and watch them slam into the ground or wall. Okay. Mesmerize. Summon a void spirit to enthrall humans or hounds. And there you have enthrall up to 3 humans or canines together. Extend its duration and even more. dark vision, always very useful. See better in darkness, observe living things through walls. And then we have greater dark vision, see objects and security systems through walls. And premonition, visualize enemy routes and their current destinations. Oh wow, that sounds really powerful. If you can predict where they're going. I mean, normally you spend a lot of time trying to predict where they are going, what their paths are. With this, you can see it. Shadow Walk. Assume a stealthy form for a short time. Where we can then also have red shadows. Move through red tunnels in your stealthier form. Improved shadow attack. Assassinate or incapacitate up to 2 enemies during Shadow Walk. Shadow Run. Move faster when in your stealthier form. Or greater shadow attack. Assassinate and incapacitate up to 3 enemies during Shadow Walk. This sounds like a great power to have. I think this will kind of serve the purpose of... Well, it can serve both the purpose that I use for my... what's it called? The power that you use to basically go inside a being. Which was great if you were being followed, or if you was being spotted, and completely stop time. Doppelganger. Summon a shade of yourself that attracts enemies. Left-flank shade. Your doppelganger will confuse enemies as it fades away. Deadly shape. Summon a doppelganger that can fight enemies and assassinate them when undetected. Transposition. Swap enemies with your doppelganger, with your summoned doppelganger. Or twin shades. Summon 2 doppelganger who act independently of each other. Wow. You can do some incredible things with this, can't you? And Domino. Link human targets so they die or fall unconscious together. And 3 and 4 enemies. And yes, I'm going through all of these. Strength. Throw objects further. Okay, that's... So basically, if you like distracting enemies by throwing objects away, this might be useful for you. Greater strength. Break down weaker dwarves with your sword. That could be kind of fun. Vitality. Increase your health and resilience. And greater vitality. Health regeneration is improved. And we also have reflexes. Block to deflect projectiles. Ooh. Focus slide. Slow time when sliding if aiming a ranged weapon at an enemy. Are we going full Warframe? Superior deflection. Deflect projectiles towards the nearest enemy. Jesus. Adept parry. Window of time for parrying is increased. And snap reaction. Quick reflexes seem to slow time briefly when an enemy spots you. There's some powerful stuff among this. Agility. This was always one of my go-to moves. Increases your jump height and distance. Rapid sprint. Sprint faster. And catfall. Take less falling damage. Very useful. Bloodthirst. Build up adrenaline in combat, then trigger brutal melee fatalities. Adrenaline burst. Replenish adrenaline automatically while not in combat, up to half maximum. And greater bloodthirst. Kill multiple enemies within range. Well, I'm not going full lethal, so this is not really something I'm going for. Bone charm crafting. Whoa. Craft your own unique bone charms with some chance of corruption. Witchcrafting. Lower chance of corruption for bone charms with 3 or 4 trials. Use the same trait to build up 4 times across your craft. Use the same trait up to 4 times across your crafted bone charms. Master crafting. Low chance of corruption when crafting bone charms with 3 traits. There's still low chance of corruption when crafting bone charm with 4 traits. Craft runes. Craft runes by expending raw whalebone, or sacrifice existing runes to accumulate with raw whalebone for crafting. Sounds cool, but I don't know if it's really something to start with. Shadow kill. Turn unaware enemies to ash as they die. And we also have the greater shadow kill. Turn all enemies to ash as they die. And Bloodflies swarm. Transform enemies killed in combat into Bloodflies as they die. But I'm going to go for the same as I always went for. I want my agility. Because that basically allows you to do anything a little bit better. No, we don't have a single bone charm though. Travel log. Okay, this is kind of stuff I want to read. And yes, you guys are probably already completely sick of this menu. If I remember, I'll put in a quick note on where the actual video game starts. But let's read this. New year. We're starting a new year. Maybe 1852 will be less boring than 1851. I can't wait for Wyman to get back to Dunwall. We'll go to the abandoned mansion I discovered the other night, at the edge of Rush Hall. Maybe I'll have time to turn it into a scary haunted house beforehand, using sheets and finding an old audiograph upstairs. Wyman would love that. We'll get spooked and hold hands, screaming and laughing. Come on, Emily. You promised to be more serious on this court, and you're already planning your next escape. Let's start this diary again. Proposals for a new decree on will or returning ends in distribution. Anniversary. That time of year again. The anniversary of my mother's death. There's no real time for reflection though. It's all security protocols, menus, guest list, and it's impossible to slip out at night. I feel like a caged bird. They've already got me memorizing this year's speech. It's endless. Would it be so terrible if I just said what I remember about her? That wink she gave me, even as she was scolding me after I was caught climbing the statue of my grandfather. The sounds of her footsteps as she paced at night. This time we shared a cabin on the boat trip to Bristol. Or the time she agreed to let Corvo teach me to fish, but then had to pull a hook from my arm. Now that would be a speech. Edge of the world. Dishonored. My father is lost, turned to stone by Delilah. Those words don't even seem real. Witchcraft. Something I never believed possible. But now I have to believe it is, so I can believe that it can be undone. Delilah's claim to be my aunt, the rightful heirs. Truth or lies? All I know that she used magic to take my throne, aided by that weasel, Duke Bell. They must have been working on that plan for years, blind his loyalty with promises. Even Ramsay, captain of the city watch, planting in everyone's mind the idea that my father and I could be responsible for those monstrous killings. That one or both of us were the crown killer. I'm not in a trusting mood, but Megan Foster says she knows Anton Sokolov, our old royal physician, and she helped me escape the coup. So she is all I have right now. Sailing for Sarkonos. My Dunwall, my home, is no longer safe for me. But I never really was safe. I never really will be. The sooner I get that through my skull, the better. Alright, can I just say that giving her a journal is the most clever thing I can think of. I mean, it's the perfect way to have a bit of to add just a little bit of, well, to add a lot of personality to a character. Letter from Emily. Wyman, but now you must have heard about the coup in Dunwall. Don't worry, I'm safe, hiding far away with friends. I implore you, don't try anything reckless. Don't go back to Bristol. Stay in Morley. There's nothing you can do against Delilah. I I can't say I have a solid plan yet, but you know how well I improvise in desperate situations. Remember the time I kept a straight face during the watch officer report, all the while sitting at my desk without pants? If I survive that, I'll get through all this. For now, I need to stay hidden and act alone. Trust me. We'll see each other again, I promise. Emily. Yeah. Oh, we just added the void. The void. This time it wasn't a dream. I've read about the void in The Outsider, imagined them. Now I've seen these wonders for myself. Strange doesn't begin to cover it. The Outsider has terrible eyes. Black on black. He offered me something. I know these gifts come with a price, but how could I refuse? This power might give me the edge I need to defeat Delilah and Duke Abel. I'll worry about paying the cost later. And what price will I pay for his other gift? My mother's beloved voice, trapped in the strangest contraption. It's both comforting and chilling to be able to talk to her again. And yet, it's not entirely the person I knew anymore. This thing, the heart, it is there and not there. I have to focus in many ways to even see it. I have to focus in a new way to even see it. We arrived at the southernmost tip of the Empire. Strange faggots all around. Salt, fish, spice. I know how to blend in here. I don't know what to eat or where to go, but this is where my father was born. So part of me belongs here too. And these are my people. Or they were until my throne was stolen by Delilah. I'm coming for you, Delilah, with my new powers. All I need now is a plan. So, duelist luck. Bullet packs have a slight chance of containing one extra pistol bullet. Very unlikely that will be useful, but okay. Void favor. Sometimes supernatural powers consume no mana. Also not the type of thing I like. I like to have very consistent bone charms. Okay, we're never going to be out of this room this episode, are we? Goodbye, Karnaca. A musical farewell. 12. Well, it was pure luck, but I managed to get myself passage to Morley aboard a decent ship. The Dreadful Whale, it's called. Is that a mistake? Shouldn't it be the Dreadful Whale, like the sea beast? Oh, the whale. I didn't want to risk pointing something like that out to the captain, that Foster lady. She looks something like the sort to dump a disagreeable passenger overboard without a second thought. Goodbye, Kanaka. I won't miss you. Times are getting bad here. I don't know what's more unbearable. Breathing mine dust all day, or hearing the constant rumbling of Duke Luca Bell over the street speaker. Every bar I played in, some drunk asked me to sing a song, either making the Duke sound like a hero of the people, or the opposite, the worst villain in a generation. I got sick of it pretty fast. It'll take a few weeks to get to Morley, give or take some days, depending on the currents and the winds. But I appreciate the company of Captain Foster and our some passengers. A Divian scholar, I think. I try to help out around the boat as much as I can, cooking, cleaning, and repairing stuff. Playing the guitar for them at night. I hope they don't throw me to the sharks when they find out I'm dirt broke. I won't be able to pay my fare when we reach Morley. 18th. Morleyan food seems to suit Captain Foster. She likes the way I use lots of sugar and a shot of whiskey into all my recipes. Even if crouched at the end of the week of how many of the supplies I had gone through. 24th. Spent the night on deck with Megan and Anton. Anton's Sokolov was on the ship. Interesting. Well, she did know that she knew him, but okay. Though he slept in a chair nearby, warped in a goat hair blanket that looked like it hasn't been washed since it was on the goat's back. I played the guitar while Megan and I drank rum and whiskey, singing sad old Sarconian ballads and giving silly names to the stars. She even hummed along with me when she got drunk enough, but mostly preferred just to listen. Sadly, I have the same voices as someone she knew once. Said I have the same voice as someone he knew once, a long while back. Off and on, I hear her playing the same old audiograph in her cabin, making me wonder if that's who she was talking about. Maybe I'm feeling jealous. 18th. What a fool I am, trying to kiss Megan down in the engine room. She needn't even yell, just smiled a sad smile, like you would at a child who still believes in night spirits. Tomorrow we'll reach Morley, and I'll disappear as quietly as I can. I've decided to leave her my Sarconian guitar as a souvenir, and the only payment I can offer. I hope she'll forgive me, and that she'll find whoever she was looking for. She's looking for someone. Interesting. Well. We got ourselves some tools. Limited resources. It's not what you used to, living in a palace, but this is all the coin I could scrape up. Anton and I operated on a tight budget. And guess what? Now you do too. If it's not beneath you, pick up whatever valuable you can find along your way. We need ammo and resources to take down the people behind the coup. Hidden all over the city, there are underground black market shops. Look for a symbol depicting two hands, which means there's a shop nearby. Follow the signs, they'll guide you. Buying from the black market is against the law, but it could make the difference against the Duke's military. Sokolov was working on this crossbow as a gift for you. If you need it modified, those shops can help with that as well. Megan. Apparently it's not the Old Faithful. It's not the Old Faithful shotgun, but it will fulfill its role just fine. And yes, I'm going to read that journal entry now. No. No, it was not one of the traveler's logs. Maintenance list. Repair the thing that got busted up in Anton's room when he was taken. It's been weeks now. No, scratch that. Not until I'm bringing him back home. But a show of faith that he'll be coming back. Unblock the storage door. Looks like something fell on the other side. And I really need to sell that stuff locked in there to make some coin. Pay the poll tax and look the other way. Feels feast to those Grand Guard bodyguard. Grand Guard bastards before they wonder where my posture is this time. I'll do it when I get the money. Oh, wait a second. I have the tools for this. If I want to really do that, I need to find a way in. There we go. Thought it would be something like this. An open hatch. That is my solution. Copper wire and stuff. we go. And some incendiary bolts. Very nice. Lots of nice gear around here. A lot of food, a lot of stuff that can be sold to basically keep this ship working.
Must be cursed. Daft old man, this is some shit. Back to that city. What would we have done in the old days? All sharp metal and shadows, we'd say.
Okay, yeah, that's quite definitely Lurk. Trying to fix a secondary engine. Anton, your idea of improving the head gasless ceiling with a guano coating is the worst you ever had. I'll make you sleep in the engine room if you don't fix my mess by tomorrow. Megan, if all inventors were as delegated and short-tempered as you are, you and I would still be pedaling around carved out logs. Megan, I made some mulberry cake. It's my own recipe, improved by Tivian spices. I'd left it in the galley. Anton, where are you, you old fool? I hope nobody hurt you. I'll find you, I swear. I miss you. Definitely looks like a fair engine, doesn't it? Well, guess we're ready to talk to,
If we're lucky, the howlers will be distracted by some spoilers.
Guess we'll be ready to talk to, what was it, Megan Foster? Yeah, Megan Foster. AKA Billy Lurk.
You're up. When you're ready to talk, I'll tell you what I know.
Let's talk.
All right. You've explained part of it. But what were you and Sokolov doing here?
The old man loved Karnaka, but he'd caught wind of a conspiracy tied to the Crown Killer. He wanted to warn Corvo.
There are reports about tensions rising, corruption, street violence. I didn't give it much mind. Usually the local authorities resolve that sort of thing.
The new Duke has let things slide. But Sokolov concluded he might be the head of the conspiracy. He came in looking shocked, and if you've heard his after-dinner stories, you know that's unusual. We were going to set out for Dunwall, but something happened.
The Crown Killer.
Yes, the hatch ripped open and Sokolov screamed. All I caught was a glimpse of someone carrying him across the deck. I followed as long as I could, toward Addermeyer Institute. It's run by the alchemist Hypatia. Maybe the Duke is using a patient of hers, the Crown Killer.
Addermeyer. All right. I'll get inside. The Crown Killer has to be eliminated, and if the alchemist will cooperate, maybe I can learn something about what happened to Sokolov. Wish me luck.
If you need my luck, Sokolov's as good as dead. When you get done at the Institute, disable the watchtower. Once it's down, I'll bring the boat around. We'll take the skiff to the shore when you're ready.
Alright, let's walk around some more. So. Track down the Crown Killer. And, well, what was it? And find the alchemist.
This Dr. Hypatia. She seems to represent the good that's possible within the Empire.
And of course, Crown Killer strikes again.
It looks like the overland route to the Addermeyer Institute goes through the carriage station.
I'm not a quick map reader at all. Guess we'll see where we end up going after we get back. Anton Sokolov.
Sokolov seems so much older now.
Well, he is 15 years older. That's quite some time.
So the Crown Killer was a tool of the Duke's coup. The murders had a calculated effect.
To make people not trust you, make them easier to convince. Delilah.
Delilah. My aunt, if that's really true. She has a twisted way of looking at the world.
She's a copper spoon. Although, I'm heavily doubting that at this point.
I don't know Duke Luca Abel, but Corvo served under Luca's father, and said Theodanis was a good man.
How times have changed. Mortimer Ramsey. What was Mortimer Ramsey doing in Karnaca?
Mortimer Ramsey. The Duke couldn't have pulled off the coup without someone inside the City Watch.
And once you have the head of the guards, you'll have more than... Oh. Yeah, once you have the City Watch, you have more than one guy.
Why is this here? It's Delilah.
Could this have been Delilah? I mean, this is probably a portrait from Sokolov. Could this be Delilah from when she worked in the palace? Quite literally ages ago. Okay, more crossbow bolts. So I can definitely pick that guy up, but you know I'm going to try Bloodfly husk. Oh, it's worth some coin. Sorry for destroying her thingy.
Dearest Emily, or must I say, your Imperial Majesty, I have something that you and Corvo must hear at the first opportunity. It concerns the murders happening across the Empire, committed by this so-called Crown Killer. When I left Bristol years ago, I swore I'd never again take part in any further political matters. I've done my share of bad things, and some good, before and after the Rat Plague. But here in Karnaca, I've uncovered a terrible conspiracy against you. Here, at the bottom of the Empire, the cobblestones smell of death and corruption. I'm staying with an associate, Megan Foster, aboard her vessel, the Dreadful Whale. We'll leave for Dunwall in the morning, as soon as the tides are willing. I keep thinking of the way sweet Jessamine was stolen from you and your father, and I fear it might be your turn to face such turmoil. I know Corvo would protect you with his life, but please do not trust anyone.
There you are, old man. I was asked to pay you a visit.
Wait, what's wrong with you? Megan!
Off we go, Sokolov, to somewhere more private.
Oh boy. Here is something I just thought up. The assassins. Doubt's assassins, what were they called? I know they're called the Whalers, but how was it written? Was that the Whalers, like the animals with an H? Or without it? That would definitely make Megan Foster really lurk. A dreadful whale. Dreadful assassin. Oh boy. Sokolov note. Bloodfly study. I wondered whether I have another book in me. The Bloodfly epidemic. coupled with basic information on life cycle and behavior, might make an excellent project for this old natural philosopher. Bloodflies are exotic insects, unlike anything else found in Sarkonos. I suspect they originated from the Pendician continent. In groups of 3 or fewer, they are harmless. Individuals won't attack, leading me to suspect that each emit a scent that has a collective effect on large numbers of bloodflies. Bloodflies are attracted to rapid movement and sound. Their nest can be broken apart, scattering the swarm, and in particular the nests are quite susceptible to fire. The insects require flesh corpses to lay their eggs, which hatch in a breathtaking fashion after a very short time. More corpses in a Sarkonan city, say during a crisis or plague, means more bloodflies. Interestingly, in the last part of bloodfly life cycle, they calm a great deal, leaving the swarm, named molt, causing their wings to drop off. Afterwards, each bloodfly lives a solitary existence. Very odd. Bloodflies are largely restricted to the south, preferring warmer climates, like certain aging natural philosophers. A reflection of my journey to the Pendician continent, number 1, by Anton Sokolov. Introduction. A colleague of mine owns a stunning map of the known world, adorned with colliculus and sea beasts. It has a cherished spot over her mantle. She paid handsomely for it, and was so bristled when I enumerated the various errors, chief among them, of course, the size and placement of the Pendician continent. Oh, how cartographers loathed to know how small and distant our empire really is compared to the giant landmass. As if Pendicia were built a few days' journey from Iran. Every veteran ship captain knows that it takes months to reach those shores. I had no doubt that Pendicia was rich in resources. The place must be understood if we ever hope to exploit its myriad treasures. These were my thoughts as I agreed to join the ill-fated expedition. And so it was, on the 3rd day of the month of Earth, on the calm grey skies, that the great sea vessel Antonia Quilo set sail with captain and crew, researchers and myself. 38 as of us total, for what wouldn't be the most terrifying and spiritually draining experience of my life. This is Anton Sokolov's investigation notes. Why can't an old man enjoy his last years in a warm climate with good wine and spicy foods, without stumbling into another nest of aristocratic vipers, eager to call around the heart of this empire? As I've learned more each week for months now, I found myself turning over the movement beneath the surface here in Karnaca. Luca, Abel, and some inner circle didn't even seem to include Captain Mortimer Ramsey of the Dunwall City Watch, betrayal that boggles the mind. How many others are involved? They aim their venom at our dear Empress, young Emily. That much is certain. But when will they strike? And how? Do I dare spend another month gathering stray bits of esoteric information, linking it together with what we already know? Can we even afford another week? Or should Megan and I set out for Bristol tonight, taking this leaky tub through the canal? Corver will not hesitate. He will act as soon as I hand over what I know, and if I'm too hasty, it might be his undoing, coming home to his native Sarkonos without some critical piece of knowledge about this affair. And then there's a crown killer to worry about. If that fiend is part of Duke Mel's schemes, and I suspect how long until the dreadful whale catches the Duke's eye. Apparently, just too long. But I guess that is kind of it for now, unless I overlooked a book around here. I did. Yeah, the rest of this episode is just going to be me reading books. Blood of the Abel House. This chapter will focus on the Labelle, steward of Culero. With sword in hand, she swept the marches of raiders, sacrificing her life for Sarkonos. We will provide newly uncovered insight into the exploits of Rabinos Abel, who built the ornate wooden bridges of Guinto. Follow along as we map out the expansions occurring under the Abels, for which trade routes to the other Isles were established, bringing riches to nation state, even as waves of settlers continues to join Sarkonos from Morley. The Abels balance grow against Sarkonan culture. In later chapters, we will detail the times of Theodenis Adel, true son of Sarkonos, brave and benevolent. He united the East and West as to no other before him. Even the rowdy people of Bastilian swore loyalty to him. One Isle, one Sarkonos, united under House Abel. Lastly, we will settle on Luca Abel, who rules today, partaking in feast and merriments of all kinds, bringing joy to our fair isle. The Shindari Gift, a study by Amora Clipsworth. On the effect of winds on the Kanaka landmass resulting economic position. Whale oil, liquid power. How astonishing that within those beasts, inside the oil harvested among their flesh, was enough power to see the Isle through these troublous years, and it all seemed limitless. But now the lights begin to dim. Our fisher folk say the great beasts are increasingly rare. Not all places often suffer this loss equally. For fellow natural philosophers, Kanaka has a unique feature: the cleft and Shindari peak through which the winds are scanned and amplified. As whale oil begins to run short, with the cost of finding the remaining Lavinians escalating beyond the worth of the oil itself, Kanaka will find itself ascendant among the Isles. Going from whale power to wind power. Yeah, if you I think you have a gas problem around here. If you overhunt something, you will drain that resource. Well, I guess that in the next episode, we'll take the skiff to Karnaka to find the Crown Killer. I hope you join me for that.